Assalamualaikum everyone, and hi to our lecturer Prof. Hasanuddin Hassan. We are from Group 30. We'll present our group assignment AFT1023 Foundation of Management. We will present about the work of 5 figures that relates to the general administration approach to management. The first one is Frederick Winslow. He is a mechanical engineer from United States. He will know as for his strategy for increasing industrial productivity. He also known as a father of scientific management, efficiency movement, and industrial engineering. The scientific management theory is about the progress of science to substitute approximation principle or hypothesis of the awareness and education of workers. This approach can analyze each work or task scientifically, which is the workers invented their own methods for completing tasks. Next, this approach can keep an eye on worker performance and provide instruction and training. This approach also can split the worker between management and labor so that management can plan and train while workers can get the job done quickly. For example, Frederick Winslow was a mechanical engineer who was primarily interested in the type of work done in factories and mechanical shops. He thought the system could be better, so he looked around for an incentive. Frederick Winslow also believed that management and labor should cooperate and work together to meet goals. He was the first to suggest that the primary functions of managers should be planning and training. One of the advantages for this approach is it can increase production because it focuses on continuous improvements in corporate process. Next, the ability to commit, which is they allow managers to maintain tight control over output. Reduce inaccuracies as the theory based on experiment and observation for context-specific solutions. One of the disadvantages of this approach is extensive financial resources were required, which is required for the establishment of a worker study planning department, worker training, and standardization. Next, management assumes committee that can fully responsible for the supervision and planning of workplace activities. The last one is planning reduce efficiency. While the capacity to plan is advantageous, it also has the disadvantage of making work inflexible and rigid, which can lead to carelessness and unhappiness. Next, Henry Gann. He is an American mechanical engineer. He is best known for his work in the development of scientific management. He is best known for two key contributions to classical management theory, which is the Gantt chart and the task and bonus system. The Gantt chart is a tool that provides a visual representation of what occurs over the course of a project. This approach can aid in the breakdown of tasks into specific elements. Next, it allows for the monitoring of project timelines, and the last one is it identifies which tasks are dependent upon a prior task or element and which are independent and can be completed at any time. For example, consider the application of Gantt chart ideas to a basic project. The finish and paint room is the final part. Calculating the square footage of the space, prepping the walls, choosing the paint, purchasing the paint, putting down the drop cloth, tapping the windows, applying the paint, and final clean out are example of distinct terminal tasks. Some of these elements are self-contained while others are interdependent. The walls must be prepared and the paint must be purchased before painting can begin. One of the advantages of this approach is it conveys a sense of complexity that can seem difficult to us as a visual will aid our comprehension. Next, it helps us to arrange our thoughts. This is also appropriate for folks who enjoy the idea of dividing and conquering. Next, it provides that we understand what we are doing. When we create a well-presented Gantt chart with high-level activities that are correctly arranged and resource allotted to those activities. One of these advantages is they can be extremely complicated. With the exception of the simplest projects, there will be a considerable number of activities and resources used to finish the project. All of these intricacies may be managed using software solutions. Next, the size of the bar does not indicate how much work has been done. Each bar on the graph represents the amount of time it will take to perform a specific set of tasks. However, placing at the bar for a specific collection of tasks does not reveal the amount of resources required to complete those tasks. The last one is they must be updated on a regular basis. If we are going to use a Gantt chart, we will need to be able to alter it quickly and easily.
My name is Naida Shafika binti Roslan. Today, I'm going to talk about General Administrative Approach to Management by Henry Fayol and Mary Parker Follett. Henry Fayol. Fayol came up with an approach of 5 functions of management, which are planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. His approach on 14 principles of management act as a guideline to managers. From my point of view, his approaches are still relevant to be applied to today's context, but with certain changes. Compared to Fayol's 5 functions of management, it has been known that today's functions of management are only 4, which are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Fayol's commanding and controlling principles have been merged into leading function. For his 14 principles of management, I think that the principles are a little bit rigid to match with today's business environment. Some related examples of today's companies that still use FAIOL approaches are: first, Apple. Command of unity has been applied in Apple company. The employees need to report to department heads so they are informed with current situation of the company. Second, McDonald. Authority and responsibility have been applied in McDonald. If a customer asks for a discount, the employees cannot allow it before asking their manager first. Third, Cadbury. Discipline has been applied in Cadbury company. If the employees violate company's rule, certain penalties will be imposed on them. There are some advantages on FAIOL 14 principle of management, which are: first, facilitates organizational structure. Second, promotes the team concept. Third, motivates employees through fair compensation. While the disadvantages are: first, ignores customers' need. Second, not based in practical research. Third, not exactly suitable for today's business. As a conclusion, FAIOL approaches to management can be a helpful guide for the development of modern management. To fit into today's standard of management, these approaches should be more flexible and in line with today's customers' needs. Next, Mary Parker Follett. She has been known as the mother of modern management. Her major ideas touch on constructive conflict, coordination, power, authority and control, and leadership. From my point of view, her approaches to management are relevant to be applied to today's context of management. Her approaches are flexible in keeping up with today's rapidly changing business environment. Some related examples of today's companies that use Follett approaches are: first, T-Life. Power Beef has been applied in T-Life. Employees' ideas are welcome for the growth of the company. This can give a sense of achievement to the workers when their ideas got accepted. Second, Google. Google encourages autonomy among their workers, which is in line with Follett's authority concept. This can empower creativity and innovation within the company. Third, Microsoft. Leader of function should take in charge of a situation since they are knowledgeable. So, Microsoft fosters new leaders by holding talent talks every year to shape leaders of functions that can help the company's growth. There are some advantages on Follett approaches to management, which are: first, improve company culture. Second, increase creativity. Third, increase employees' engagement. While the disadvantages are: first, no specific strategy. Second, obstacle to integration. Third, unreliable and untrustworthy employees. In a conclusion, Follett's approaches to management have been brought to light in recent years. The flexibility of her approaches to management helps contemporary businesses in dealing with today's technologies.
Hi, I'm Nabila binti Ismail and I'm going to present about Max Weber approach. Max Weber was a German sociologist who argued bureaucracy that the most efficient and rational model private business and public offices. Max Weber was concerned that authority was not a function, experience and ability because the managers were not loyal to the organization. So that Max Weber was convinced that organizations based on rational authority, which that the most competent and qualified people to be more efficient. Characteristic of bureaucracy. Firstly, hierarchical management structure, division of labor. Third, formal selection process. Next, career orientation, formal rules and regulations, and finally, impersonality. Related examples. In an ideal bureaucracy, everyone is treated equally and work responsibilities are clearly. Then hierarchical management system supports for providing clear lines of communication and division of labor because some of bureaucracy is the dominant form of most large organization, so that the pyramid organizational structure is possible to split into divisions, departments, and teams. There have five advantages of bureaucracy. Firstly, specialization or expertise. The work is divided among the employees according to their skill, capabilities, and expertise. Second, skill-based recruitment. The employees are recruited by matching their skills and experience to ensure that the right person is placed at the right job. Third, equality. The management remains ensure a fair judgment at the time of any issue or problem in the organization. Next, structure. Structure sets the base and framework for the functioning of the organization. And lastly, rationality. Ensure that prescribing in advance the criteria for decision making in routine situation based on the experience. And there have four disadvantages of bureaucracy. Firstly, delay in business decision making. Second, wastage of time, efforts, and money. Third, rigidity. And lastly, compartmentalization of activities. Conclusion is the term bureaucracy has taken on negative connotations because bureaucracy is rooted in controlling something with use of power authority. And today, bureaucratic management initiate the creation of proper hierarchy in the organization. And now, employees can follow the state rules and regulation to have a poor bureaucratic system in organization. So that's all from our group. Thank you.